When I first went there, I just brought the battery in, put it on the counter, and said, I need this battery. And the fella at the battery, the auto parts store, went around back, came out with a cart, and was wheeling 3 batteries. And I was pretty impressed that they had, these very specialized batteries in stock. Well, once he got around the counter, I saw that they were actually batteries made by a different company than Interstate. So I don't want to sound like an Interstate battery commercial here, but I did ask them to please order me some Interstate batteries. So the fella picked up the phone, made a call, and said they're going to have the Interstate batteries in about an hour. So I figured, while I'm waiting for the batteries to get to the shop, what I'm going to do is just grab, I got some wire brushes and some paper towels, and I'm just going to go through all these pieces, and there's a little bit of corrosion on them, and take off the copper. It's not called copper plate, that's something for marine applications, but later in the video I'll show you what this stuff is that I put on top. And so I'm just going to go through and clean all this stuff off, make sure it's nice and sparkly clean, so once the batteries get here we can go ahead and put them back in. I also did some quick Google search, and I know there was something about batteries that was important, and what they said was you should always disconnect the negative battery first, disconnect the negative terminals first, and connect them last, because what you want to do is make sure that if you are unhooking or hooking the positive terminal up and you touch the metal and you ground it, or it doesn't arc. So by undoing the negatives first, that way if you touch your wrench to the metal, it won't arc. And by hooking them up last, same idea, it won't arc. So I did that wrong, taking them off, so when we put them back on, I will try to remember to hook up all the red wires first and then work from the back to the front, and as long as I don't touch the black negative cables to the red terminals, we should be good. So let me move the camera and we'll go ahead and get started cleaning this stuff off. Okay folks, well, the battery fairy has come and I've got 3 nice shiny new batteries here. What I did besides clean off all the terminals was this black bar that goes on top of the batteries. I just went ahead and gave it a quick wire brushing and put a nice coat of fresh paint on it, just so the rust doesn't start spreading there. And I also took, these are the things that hold the batteries in place, and I just went ahead and got a piece of threaded rod and put one together real quick. One of my new sayings is rust begets rust. And what I want to do is just make sure that, in another 5 years this thing might have rusted through, so I'll just be prepared, start with a fresh one, and it'll be much easier to work on next time. Okay, as you're looking here, I've got this one lead with the green there, and I've got something in the cab wired, so I marked it with the green so I know which one is the ground that has to go back to the battery. Now what we're going to do is we are going to hook up all of our positives first, and then we'll hook up our negatives, so that if we touch the frame of the truck, when we're tightening our negatives or our positives, it's not going to have any ground to get back to. go ahead and tighten these up. Okay, and now what we can do is we'll go ahead and hook up our negatives, and as long as we don't touch the negative to the positive terminals, we're not going to get a little funny tingle. And again, I wish I could say I did this all the time, but better to learn late than never. And then we'll put the nuts on. Okay, now it looks like I forgot to hook this one up, but that's actually okay, because what I want to do is make sure I get this bar on first, because this is going to have to go over it. This usually gets a little tricky. There we go. And there it goes back down. Okay, now we want to run this one over. So here I'm supposed to be careful not to touch. I'm tightening the positive, and I have to be careful not to touch the metal, because if I touch the metal, it'll ground and then I'll get a shock, and that would be bad. Okay, so I'm just going to do a test fit on this piece, because this piece can be a bear to get on too. That makes no sense. I guess that's it. It looks a little bit crooked to me, but I can't get that thing on there any better than that. That's as far over as she'll go.